Today we're going to check out 2005's Constantine on 4K Blu-ray. I'm not here to talk about how good or bad this movie is, I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the audio and video quality. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot on 35mm. It's got a 4K DI. It's rated R. Runtime is 121 minutes. Aspect ratio is 239:1, and the audio gets a brand new Dolby Atmos mix. Now before we take a look at this audio and see how active this mix is, if you don't know what the Atmos viewer is, you can find a link down below in this video's description that tells you all about it, what it does, and where to get it. You can also find a list of all the gear that I use for these 4K reviews down there as well. Now the older Blu-ray has a true HD 5.1 channel mix. This new Atmos mix is locked in 7.1.4 channels, and it never deviates from those 11 channels. All the channels are active at all times, so whether it's an action scene or a non-action scene, every speaker is always doing something. It's mostly lighter ambiance that's extended up top, so it essentially sounds like you're taking the original 5-channel mix and just upmixing it with either a Neural X upmixer or the Dolby Surround upmixer. It does sound good and does give you really good immersion. So the scenes with rain, of course, sounds good with rain coming from the top channels, and the part where Pa Kent is reading the newspaper has these voices that float around throughout the soundstage. So while all the speakers do remain active, I didn't hear much in the way of distinct sound movement within my room. As for the bass response, it definitely gave my subs a good workout. The scenes that take place in hell has got this really deep rumble that shook the walls, and the few explosions had excellent kick. I wouldn't say it's demo-worthy bass, but I didn't feel like it was lacking at any point, and the dialogue always remained easy to hear throughout. Now this is a new remaster taken from the original camera negative, overseen by the film's director, Francis Lawrence. And coming from the original Blu-ray, it's kind of a night and day difference. It could almost pass for a movie shot very recently. It was shot on film, so there is a layer of grain which keeps it from having that ultra 4K clean, crispy look. But there is still a ton of fine details on board, so counting strands of hair and seeing pores and wrinkles, those are all fully rendered in this transfer. The detail in all the sets with all the dirt and grime looked fantastic, whereas on the older Blu-ray, everything was blurry in comparison. As for the HDR, it's got a max CLL of 728 and a max FALL of 171. So this is a fairly bright transfer with a slightly warmish tone with a deep level of saturation. They actually had the original colorist come back to regrade this movie. I did find the HDR was borderline kind of hot, so on peak highlights where it's fire or some kind of light source, the whites can come across overly bright. Black levels were impressive, not crushing any detail where it wasn't supposed to, which also gave the image a nice high contrast look. This is an overall excellent 4K upgrade with a highly noticeable increase in resolution, and HDR brings out a ton more detail in this very dark movie. I'm going to go with a 9.2 for video. For audio, this new mix gives you a solid level of immersion in all directions. It doesn't have the most detailed soundstage as far as things moving in and out and panning through different channels, but the bass was tactile, and this is a nice upgrade coming from the 5-channel mix. I'm going to go with an 8 for audio. So what are your thoughts on this new 4K transfer of Constantine? Have you seen it, and do you like the movie? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Now if you do want to pick up this movie, I will leave some links for it down below in this video's description. As always guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like this video if you found it useful and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you again in the next video.